Most men have been sold a lie, that the only way to win a woman's attention is to chase her, impress her, and constantly prove your worth. But here's the truth. Most guys don't realize. The men women actually put on a pedestal are not the ones doing the chasing. They're the ones who know how to flip the dynamic and make her invest, her wonder, and her chase. And when you understand how this works, the whole game changes in your favor. Think about it. Why is it that the guy who bends over backward, answers every call instantly, showers her with compliments, and tries to be perfect, often gets ignored? While the guy who seems a little harder to reach, more focused on himself, and less desperate for her approval, is the one she obsesses over? It's because women are wired to value what isn't handed to them easily. When you make yourself too available, you kill the mystery, the challenge, and the attraction. But when you understand how to create the right balance, she starts doing the work to win you. This video is not about manipulation or playing childish games. It's about positioning yourself as the kind of man who naturally attracts pursuit. A man who doesn't have to beg for attention because he understands his value. And once you know these 5 simple shifts, you'll stop being the one chasing women, and instead, you'll notice they'll be the ones trying to keep up with you. Welcome to the channel. If you're tired of being the guy who overinvests and ends up overlooked, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to break down 5 easy ways to make a girl chase you, to the point where she sees you as someone she doesn't want to lose. Pay close attention, because the truth is, women don't admit this openly, but we respond to men who make us work for it. And once you master these moves, you'll stop being an option and start being the prize. 1. Don't be too available. One of the quickest ways to kill a woman's curiosity is by being available all the time. Men often think that if they're always there, always ready, and always responding instantly, it will make a woman feel secure. But that's not how attraction works. Attraction is built in the unknown, in the little gaps that make her think about you when you're not around. If you're always answering texts within seconds, always free to hang out at her convenience, always rearranging your life just to fit into hers, she won't feel the need to chase. She knows you'll be there regardless of how much effort she puts in. That predictability makes her comfortable, but it also makes you less exciting in her mind. On the other hand, when you show her that your life doesn't revolve around her, she starts to notice. If you take your time to respond sometimes, if you're busy with your own goals and responsibilities, if you let her see that you won't drop everything for her, she starts to value your presence more. It's not about ignoring her or playing childish games. It's about balance. Give her your energy, but don't hand over your entire schedule. Let her wonder what you're doing when you're not texting back. That little bit of space is often enough to spark her curiosity, and once curiosity kicks in, the chase begins. 2. Build emotional intrigue. Most men focus only on the surface-level things when trying to attract women: looks, money, or status. While those things can help, they're not what truly make a woman chase. What makes her invest is emotional intrigue, the feeling that there's more to you than what she's already seen. Here's what that means. Women are drawn to men who don't reveal everything up front. If she feels like she's figured you out in the first couple of conversations, she has no reason to dig deeper. But if you show layers, passions, interests, experiences, and even opinions that make her think, she'll naturally want more. Emotional intrigue comes from the way you carry yourself. Maybe you don't overshare about your life too quickly. Maybe you give her a little taste of your personality, but hold back enough that she has to ask questions. Maybe you surprise her with a perspective she didn't expect from you. All of this makes her lean in because she's curious. The mistake men make is trying too hard to impress with facts or achievements. That doesn't create intrigue. It just makes you seem like you're pitching yourself. What actually works is letting her feel like she's discovering you piece by piece. That discovery process is what makes her put in effort, because the more effort she invests, the more she values you. If you can create intrigue in the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, and the way you reveal who you are, you'll notice women start chasing your attention, not because you asked for it, but because they need to know more. 3. Show confidence through your lifestyle, not just words. One of the biggest mistakes men make is thinking they can talk their way into attraction. They think if they say the right lines, compliment her enough, or explain how confident they are, she'll just fall in line and chase. But here's the reality. Women don't believe words the way they believe actions. You can tell a woman you're ambitious, but if your daily life shows laziness and lack of drive, she won't respect it. You can tell her you're confident, but if you fold the second she tests you, that image collapses. The truth is, the way you live is what communicates your value far louder than anything you could say. Confidence isn't just standing tall or making eye contact. It's being rooted in your direction as a man. When a woman sees that you've got something going on outside of her, your career, your health, your hobbies, your network, she feels like she has to earn a spot in that life. That's when she starts chasing. Think about it this way. A man who is busy building, creating, and moving forward isn't available to sit around waiting for her texts. And that unavailability is magnetic. Women want access to men who are scarce, who aren't just sitting around looking for validation. It's not about playing games. It's about having a life that naturally demands your attention. And here's the important part. You don't need to brag about it. A guy who constantly tells a woman about his money, his achievements, or his goals is usually overcompensating. The man who lives it quietly but consistently, that's the guy who draws her in. She notices when you're improving, when you're focused, when you're not available every second of the day. That's how pedestal energy is built, not because you demanded it, but because she starts to respect and admire the man you already are. And the more she admires you, the more she wants to chase your approval, your attention, your time. At the end of the day, women don't chase men because of what they say. They chase men because of how they live. 4. Pull back just enough to create curiosity. One thing men don't realize is that attraction dies the moment a woman feels like she has you completely figured out. If she knows exactly when you'll text, what you'll say, how available you'll be, there's no mystery left. And without mystery, there's no chase. Now, this doesn't mean you have to play childish games or disappear for days to prove a point. That's not attractive. It just makes you look inconsistent. What I'm talking about is creating just enough space for her to wonder about you. Curiosity is one of the strongest forces that drives women to invest more into a man. Think about it. When you're always available, always quick to respond, always ready to cancel your plans just because she asked, you're teaching her that she doesn't have to work for your attention. And what people don't work for, they don't value. The opposite is also true. When she senses that your attention isn't guaranteed, that it has to be earned, she values it more. The easiest way to create this curiosity is by living your life without apology. Don't always rush to reply instantly. Don't be afraid to let her wait a little if you're busy. Don't constantly try to fill the silence with long messages or desperate attempts to keep the conversation alive. Instead, let her feel those small gaps where she starts to think, what's he up to? Why hasn't he texted yet? That small question in her mind builds more attraction than 1,000 compliments ever will. Women naturally chase what feels just out of reach. It's psychology. If you give everything up front, she has no reason to pursue you. But if you're present, engaged, and fun when you're together, while still having that little bit of distance, she'll start leaning in more, reaching out first, and putting more effort in just to secure her spot in your world. And here's the key. The balance is important. Too much distance and she'll assume you're not interested. Too much availability and she'll take you for granted. But when you land right in the middle, when you give her enough to feel connected but not so much that she feels entitled, that's when she starts chasing. Remember, men who are slightly unpredictable create the strongest pull. Women love trying to figure out where they stand with you. That curiosity? That's what puts you on the pedestal. 5. Use subtle flirtation to spark the chase. Here's something a lot of men don't realize. Women actually love to chase, but only when there's a spark to chase after. If you're too flat, too serious, or too neutral in your interactions, she has no reason to put energy into you. Subtle flirtation is what gives her that energy. It's not about being corny or over the top. It's about those small hints that make her wonder if you see her as more than just another person in the room. Picture this. You're talking to a woman, maybe at a casual gathering. Instead of sitting there answering questions like it's a job interview, you throw in a playful comment. She says something, and you tease her lightly. Not in a cruel way, but in a way that shows confidence. She laughs. She pushes back. And suddenly the interaction isn't just a conversation, it's a little dance. That playful tension is what makes her want more. Most guys don't give women that. They either go too hard, dropping heavy compliments every 2 seconds, or they play it too safe, afraid to risk being flirty at all. But here's the truth. When you flirt in a subtle, confident way, you separate yourself from every other guy who's treating her like a goddess or treating her like a coworker. You land right in the middle, the sweet spot where she's intrigued and curious. And here's where it gets interesting. When you create that spark, women can't help but replay the interaction in their heads. She'll go home thinking about the way you smirked when you said something, or how you didn't fold when she teased you back. That's what pulls her in. That's what makes her text you first, or try to put herself in your path again. It's not about being the funniest guy in the room or the smoothest talker. It's about having the confidence to create that playful tension without needing her reaction to validate you. You throw the spark, and then you let her decide if she wants to chase it. 9 times out of 10, if she's even remotely interested, she will. So here's the takeaway. Don't be afraid to be a little bold, a little teasing, a little suggestive, in a way that shows you're comfortable with her and with yourself. That's the kind of energy that doesn't just attract women. It makes them chase it, because they want more of that feeling. 6. Pull back at the right moments. Here's something a lot of men misunderstand. Women don't chase consistency, they chase unpredictability. Now don't get me wrong, I don't mean being flaky or unreliable. What I mean is that women are wired to feel more attracted when there's a little bit of uncertainty. If she feels like she has you locked in too soon, she stops putting in effort. But if she feels like she could lose your attention, she starts chasing. Pulling back at the right moments is one of the most effective ways to trigger this. Let's say you've been giving her energy. You've been texting, talking, engaging. She's enjoying it. She feels good about it. Now, instead of keeping that same constant pace, you slow down. You don't disappear completely, but you let her feel the space. That little bit of distance makes her wonder, what's he up to? Why isn't he giving me all the attention he was before? That curiosity quickly turns into effort on her part. The mistake most men make is that they overcompensate. They think the way to keep a girl's interest is to keep showing up, keep proving themselves, keep reminding her how much they like her. But women actually feel more drawn when you stop feeding them constant attention. Because here's the secret. If she likes you even a little, pulling back makes her want to close that gap herself. This is why timing matters. If you pull back too early, before she's invested, she won't care. But if you do it after you've already given her enough to feel your presence, she'll feel the shift instantly. And that's when the chase begins. What's really happening here is psychology. People value what they have to work for, and women are no exception. When she feels like she has to earn back your energy, she starts to put you on a pedestal in her own mind. She thinks, I don't want to lose this. And that thought is powerful. So don't be afraid of silence. Don't be afraid of space. Don't be afraid to step back when things are flowing. That's not playing games. That's giving her the opportunity to show you her level of interest. Because a woman who truly wants you won't let you drift too far. She'll lean in, she'll reach out, and that's exactly what flips the script. She starts chasing you. 7. Be the man. She doesn't want to lose. At the end of the day, The real way to make a woman chase you isn't about tricks, tactics, or clever little games. It's about becoming the kind of man she looks at and thinks, if I don't put effort into him, I'll regret it. That's the mindset that makes a woman chase. Here's the truth, a lot of men don't want to face. Too many of you are chasing women without doing the work on yourselves first. You expect her to see you as valuable, but you don't always carry yourself like a man of value, and that's the gap. Women are wired to put effort into men who stand out, not just with looks, but with purpose, drive, and energy. If you're living a life that excites you, she'll want to be part of it. If you're stagnant, overly available, or constantly bending for her attention, she'll pull back. So you have to ask yourself, what do you bring to the table besides wanting her? Are you working on your goals? Do you have standards? Do you show leadership in your own life? Because women notice all of that. And when she sees that you respect yourself, she naturally feels the urge to respect you too. Being the man she doesn't want to lose isn't about arrogance. It's not about acting like you're better than her or untouchable. It's about carrying yourself in a way that makes her realize, if I don't chase him, another woman will. That quiet confidence changes everything. Here's where some men go wrong. They think making her chase is about withholding affection, ignoring her, or constantly pulling away. That only works short term, and it usually backfires. What really keeps her chasing is the balance. She feels your interest, but she also feels that you won't tolerate disrespect or laziness from her. You give her warmth, but you don't smother her. You show effort, but you also expect it back. And when you hit that balance, she starts putting you higher in her mind. She invests more, she prioritizes you, and yes, she chases, because she doesn't want to lose a man who values himself. So here's the challenge. Stop thinking about how to get her attention and start focusing on how to keep building yourself. That's what truly flips the roles. When she realizes you're the type of man who keeps growing, who doesn't need her validation, and who won't waste his time on someone who isn't giving energy back, she'll chase you. Not because you forced her, but because she knows you're worth it. Here's the thing most men never realize. Women don't naturally put men on a pedestal just because they like them. They only do it when they feel that the man deserves it. And that feeling doesn't come from how much you chase her. It comes from how much she feels she has to chase you. Think about it. A man who constantly gives, constantly pursues, constantly proves himself. He becomes predictable. But a man who values his time, who shows confidence, who has his own life, and who knows when to pull back, he becomes a challenge. And women are wired to chase challenges they don't want to lose. Here's a controversial truth you might not want to hear. If a woman never has to chase you, she'll eventually stop appreciating you. Because effort is what builds value in her mind. The more she invests, the higher she places you in her life. So if you want a girl to chase you, stop focusing on how to win her over and start focusing on how to live in a way that makes her feel she needs to earn a place with you. That's the shift that puts you on the pedestal in her eyes. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a girl chase you unexpectedly? What made her do it? Share your story in the comments. Let's learn from each other.